Shalom, Yasha. First and foremost, I would like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chodash. Double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp, and I'm doing this lesson real quick based on a news update. I should have done this lesson yesterday, but I was waiting for a couple videos, some more information, just the spirit, to hop on for the right time to do this. But, after getting a little bit more information, about what happened, it is as I suspected, and obviously what I'm talking about is the Babylon the Great, the U.S. bombing Nigeria, which is a mainly southern kingdom inhabited country. Even though it's in Ham's land over there in Africa, the majority of the tribes over there, is Jake, man. You have the major population of the Igbo over there, which if you ever seen the movie Tears of the Sun with Bruce Willis, it was them literally keeping the last descendant of one of the Igbo or Ashanti, I can't remember exactly. I want to say it was Igbo descendant safe, and that if you know the history, that's a lot of where Jake fled after the Roman persecution into West Africa. If you've ever had the book, not to go too off topic, but if you ever heard of the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, it actually talks about them settling on the west coast of Africa, which is where the country of Nigeria is. So like I said, this lesson is just a quick update, on just highlighting the fact of Esau's sneaky ways, man. In your backyard, and making all type of excuses to go after, someone he deems lesser than him. I'm going to start out with the scripture before I get too much rambling. This is Habakkuk 2:2. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So we're out here, talking about the scriptures first and foremost. We filter everything that we see in the news, in our daily lives, in the world, amongst the brethren through the scriptures. So when we see things like this, we got to blow the trumpet on it, because this is just another example of Esau Edom attacking the northern and the southern kingdoms. The northern kingdom with what he's getting ready to do with Venezuela, as well as now the southern kingdom, by him going after Nigeria. And I actually wanted to bring a picture that I have a screenshot of. This is it. Because this actually happened about a week before this actual bombing of Nigeria happened, and this is Nigeria officially bans all the U.S. nationals from entering the country, so that is always historically a pattern that a country does right before they're going to go out all out war with them, and right now, the history of Nigeria is it's split between 50% Muslim and 50% Christian. And Donald Trump's excuse of going in there into that country was the genocide of the Christian Nigerians, which he don't give a fuck about the defending so-called Christians, man. He's there for the resources, and this ISIL, ISIS, you know what I'm saying, are just set up proxy armies that go around doing the bidding of, Babylon the Great and the Little Hats. Because it's funny how these so-called ISIS and all these different groups are saying we're going to attack you and we're going to do that, but they only seem to attack the countries that Babylon the Great is at war with, because they are infiltrated, set there so that Babylon the Great, the U.S. has an excuse to go in and use its military, and they're the ones funding the same ISIS that they're saying that they're there to, to get rid of. Why if Israel and America are ISIS's sworn enemies, how come those two countries are the same ones that never get attacked? So that is what you see as them using their own order out of chaos, creating these own groups to do their own bidding through the CIA and Mossad, just like the same way they use the cartels in Mexico, same way that they use the different mafias, throughout the country. It's the same way, just on an amplified scale. They're using these different terrorist T groups, these T groups that are out here causing mass destruction to have an excuse to go in. And we understand that he's just in Nigeria's backyard, for resources, and just the fact that it's Jake that is the majority of that country makes it even that much easier for him and that much sweeter for Esau to go in and start tearing that fucking country up. This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And it's happening right now. All these different conflicts around the world, and these countries stepping up to Babylon the Great, because best believe any country that Babylon the Great goes to invade, Russia, China are going to have their back. Just like Venezuela, Russia, and China have their back. Why hasn't fucking Babylon the Great just rolled up in Venezuela yet? It's because they can't. They're not as powerful as they think they are. It's Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith, by his faith. And that's the elect, and that's what we're going to maintain on, because as bad as things are about to get, we understand why these things are happening. And his major resource to grab is mainly oil, uranium, and different lithium products that he uses for his technology, because he's already pushing the 6G, so they're getting ready for the beast system and to start karagmaing everybody up so that they have the mineral raw earth materials ready and the supply chain, so that when they set this technocratic run world of turning everybody into homeoborn genesises, with a karagma up in them, can have unlimited resources to continue making that type of technology. And that's something you got to understand. Esau's invading these countries so that he can get resources, so that he can make more technology, so that he can further the beast system. And that is lump sum what this lesson is about. And this is the people of Nigeria being massacred, the genocide, and that's what Esau is using as his so-called reason why he's going in there, which we know is false. And I saw this picture too. It says drug trafficking in Venezuela, Christian genocide in Nigeria. Good, we'll invade them both. So good, like having a reason to go in. Again, it's more than just oil. More than anything right now, it's mainly the raw earth minerals that they need to make their technologies. And this is a little video. I don't even think I'm gonna play it. But he has a few good points to say. I'm gonna let it play. Yeah, I'm gonna let it play. Not the whole thing.
That's because this is about one thing and one thing only. It is Nigeria's resources. It is not about Christian genocide. That didn't happen. It is not about ISIL. America has funded ISIL at times. America works with the people that fund ISIL, and America is interrupting the operations that actually undermine ISIL in Nigeria. The Nigerian government. Because let's be clear, bombing Nigeria, even if there are terrorists that the Nigerian government is fighting, is illegal, both under federal and international law. And this is not about protecting Christians, because even the Christians in Nigeria, by and large, do not support American intervention, which still kill Christians. I'm well beyond justifying why there is no justification for this, but what I want you to learn from this, the very clear line that a justifying narrative spread for the past year by motherfuckers like Bill Maher, and then taken up by the right-wing mainstream of a Christian genocide in Nigeria, which was never happening, and no international human rights organization agrees with, directly led to people being killed by American bombs. It is important that we undermine these myths that are used very quickly by every single liberal and conservative mainstream institution to justify violating the sovereignty of another nation, killing its citizens, very clearly to steal its resources, something America and the West has done 4 times over in Nigeria as they funded coup after coup after coup after coup.
Yep, and that's where you get the term Banana Republic from. They would instill a new government just because the one before that would try to nationalize whatever product they have, and that's what's going on in Burkina Faso. Oh man, Slovakia. But there's like a trio group. There's a trio group. Here it is. This is This is some information real quick. This is Nigeria joined the BRICS alliance in early 2025 as a partner country, not a full member, alongside other nations like Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, and Uzbekistan, etc., etc. So what they're doing is this is showing that they're in cahoots with the BRICS, so which makes again them even more of a target to be attacked. What else? Yeah, here it is. This is while also navigating ties with other blocs like ECOWAS, why Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, which is that Abraham Tassoni, whatever, but he's actually, doing good for his country right now, and is actually making, that the country that he's in a lot more richer. So you know that there's going to be another Gaddafi moment. So this is just Babylon the Great getting their foot in the door again to start, fucking up and destabilizing these regions that are starting to form an alliance. This is continuing, form the Sahel alliance against regional influence, against regional influences, regional influence of the West, as well as China, but best believe that these countries here are going to be more funded by Russia and the BRICS nations, rather than the West, and that is not something that can be, how do you say, questioned when Babylon the Great is trying so hard to hold its top position in the world. So again, I'm going to read a couple of scriptures. I'm going to close this lesson out. But, just some information out there. Akim, this is stuff, you got to stay up on. Understand world geopolitics, and understand the history of why Esau would choose these type of countries. Mainly it's inhabited by Jake, but as well as the rich lands and the resources that it has, et cetera, et cetera. This is just proving the point more that Esau Edom is the wicked. This is Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. And the soul is not upright in him, definitely not Esau Edom and the sons of the wicked, self-proclaimed white man. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, which is his doctrine, his sayings like, oh, looks like you need some freedom and democracy. Let's go bomb the shit out of you. Because you need freedom and democracy, light beer and blue jeans. Yeah, and that's what he thinks, man. His philosophies on what you think you need in this world, the American dream. Continuing, he is a proud man. Esau is most proud. You can go read the book of Obadiah. Neither keepeth at home. Esau Edom has gone to the four corners of the world, raping, robbing, pillaging, plundering, stealing resources, destroying lineages, taking down the ancient markers of the land, any and everything to defile the heathen inhabitants as well, mainly as Jake. Heathen nations weren't even on that dirty level, but Esau Edom has no morality code. He is the wicked. He doesn't have a conscience. He doesn't care about your traditions. All he wants is what he can take from you. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, which means unsatisfied, and is as death and cannot be satisfied. So lucky I didn't realize, it's unsatiable. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. That's all people, not just the Israelites. The whole world is suffering, under this man. This is Habakkuk 2:6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that thick clay is the word debt, which is the word ibatya in the Hebrew. Ibatya, thick clay, debt, laden yourself with debt, man. Because ultimately that debt is going to have to be paid when Yahushua comes to crack those clouds. Not just on Esau, but on all the heathen nations that have capitalized off of the blood of the Israelites. Continuing, verse 7, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And thou shalt be for booties unto them. Just like Esau was spoiled, it's just like Esau went and spoiled all the nations, he is going to be spoiled. Verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Whew, man, that's exactly a beautiful scripture to tie in with exactly what's going on right now. You know, he spoiled many nations going into them and robbing their resources, you know, their culture, you know, their sovereignty, you know, everything. And ultimately, all the remnant of the people, all those that are left here, the descendants in these last days, man, ultimately Esau is going to be public enemy number one, looked at in the kingdom like, this is the man. This is the man that caused the nations to tremble while he's on there on all fours, grunting like a beast, looking down. You better not be you better not be eyeballing me, boy, type thing. You better have your eyes down and in a constant bow position if you're not constantly working, man. You know, that's what we're gonna be like. This dude right here, he's gonna get it the worst because he, under his rulership, according to Job 9:24, has judged the world wickedly. So too will he ultimately be getting the worst judgment, which is 100% extermination after that 1,000 years of hardcore bondage in the kingdom of heaven under the Yahweh Shai, the elect King David. He's gonna get it. Job 9:24. For what reason? This was why. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? There's only one person that qualifies as the wicked, and that is Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, doing the same thing to this day. Raping, robbing, pillaging, going on other nations and taking what's not his. You know, so we're here to use the scriptures to, chant down Babylon and to ultimately put the mark on this man for all those who aren't aware that the self-proclaimed white man, Esau, Edom, is the fucking devil the Bible speaks of. So Lord willing that this lesson was edifying unto the elect. Till next time, I would like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Chadash, and double honors to beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth, and peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect document out there laboring, that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Till next time, Lord willing.